All right. Hi, I'm John of Delightful Dog Training, and I just want to hit on the subject of coprophagia, or dogs that eat their own droppings or other dogs' droppings. And want to hit on this subject because it's a really just troublesome one once it starts. There are kind of two reasons why we might see this behavior. The first one of those is when we're talking about nutrition, kind of the nutrition side of things and the medical side of things. So in some cases, we have dogs that are doing this because maybe they're not absorbing nutrients. This could be, in one case, just a poor diet. They're not getting the nutrients they need. In other cases, this could be that the dog actually has internal parasites. And it's really tricky because even if we do tests like the fecal floats under the microscope, things like that, they don't always catch that there are parasites present. We've had some dogs that we've seen this behavior in, and the owners were like, "No, we've tested them for parasites multiple times," and it turns out there were internal parasites, but they just weren't appearing in a heavy enough load for them to get picked up. So that sometimes can fail. Once again, I'm not a vet, so I'm not going to try to explain that anymore. I'll leave that to a vet to do. But we have seen that where that's the case, where a dog actually has internal parasites and they just weren't being caught at the vet. And so there's a variety of different things. And when we talk about parasites, this could cause anemia, where the dog isn't able to really absorb certain nutrients like iron, things like that. And so this may cause a dog that feels kind of perpetually hungry because they're not actively absorbing the nutrients from the food they're eating. So we have that side. So definitely something to talk to your vet about. Then we have the behavioral side. And on the behavioral side, sometimes this can happen from a puppy that's in a dirty whelping box, kept in dirty places with their litter where it's not getting cleaned up. Some of the puppies start self-cleaning, start developing that habit early on. For puppies that don't develop that at the breeders or before you get them, this could be a dog that is, once again, we have messy yards, we're not scooping, could be going to a daycare, where there's all these different foods. Some dogs probably aren't fully digesting their food, especially if there's like corn or certain grains in there. They're just kind of passing through. And so with certain diets, we have more stuff that passes through and doesn't really get absorbed and maintains not to be gross, but the same kind of original content, which could be a little bit more attractive. There could be some other things going on, digestive issues that are going to create different smells that might make it more attractive to your dog. And so obviously the first step that we should be taking with puppies is please be making sure that you are scooping regularly around your puppy. It is the first and best step you can take to prevent coprophagia. Because once this becomes kind of an obsessive behavior, which it often does, it can become incredibly difficult to stop. So don't let it become a problem, prevent it from becoming a problem. So we don't want our dogs eating their stuff. Juniper, get out of there. Along that line, so you can come up and visit here. But along that line, if, once again, we're visiting areas where maybe it isn't being scooped, maybe we're going to somebody's home where it isn't being scooped, or it's not necessarily a fenced-in area, and we are worried that our dog might start practicing this behavior, the next thing that we can do is practice good management. So management isn't only scooping poop, but could we have a line on? Could we encourage the dog away from it? Don't let them become obsessed with it. Don't let them get to it and start practicing that behavior, because once again, we get dogs that can kind of become obsessive about it, right? And this could be because, once again, content, or for a dog that may have parasites, and maybe just the behavior of kind of getting to engage in that behavior even a little bit, maybe it's not obsessive, is what caused the parasites in the first place. So this can be really self-perpetuating. Please, 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 the best way to keep coprophagia from becoming a problem is don't let it become a problem. Make sure we're cleaning up those areas, make sure we're managing appropriately, have a long line leash on, whatever you have to do. Do not let this behavior grow at an early age. Usually if we don't see it develop at earlier ages, it doesn't typically pick up at later ages. Now, once again, if your dog's going to a daycare, please be asking, checking in. This is something that you should be asking. Hey, has my dog ever exhibited this? Did you notice this? How often are your yards scooped? How do you handle that? Would you let us know if you saw that? These are all things that we want to communicate. So really, really important. Keeping a clean area for your puppies, scoop regularly. I know it's easy to miss them, especially as fall comes in, and then as winter lets up in the spring, there's always that one we missed under the snow. So please just be really on that, because that is a hard behavior to stop once it's grown.